Yo, you remember this part from one of my previous videos? I'm just over here having the time of my life, cooking up yet another 0 users per month SaaS, right? Well, turns out if you have too much fun building a SaaS, then you kind of lose track of time and bam, you just spent 1.5 months building a SaaS without any users in your grandma's basement. But dude, it's good to be back. There's so much stuff that happened in web dev that I can't wait to talk about in this video. I mean, you're not stupid. You can read it in the title, right? I'm gonna talk to you about something really cool that I built the past months. The idea is that you get reviews from your customers or users, if you had any, and people really like the UI. At least that's the feedback I've gotten so far. And once we log in, we're gonna land right here in the dashboard. Now, what's the idea here? Basically, you get a link. You can share that link with people, and if they visit that link, they can give you a review, right? You can greet them with a custom video, as I do here. They can record a video. They can send in a text review about your SaaS or your product or whatever it is, your course platform, whatever you're building. Goat it. And then they can enter some details about themselves, like name, profile picture, and even a job title if, they have one. Let's call ourselves a LinkedIn expert, because I absolutely hate LinkedIn. And once they submit the review, it's going to show up on your dashboard and you can export it. I think that's much more interesting for this video as like a component, right? As a React component. So we can see the review pop in here from Josh. Absolutely goated. And that's the thing, right? The idea is nothing new. There are other tools that do just this. They provide you a form that you can send to people to collect their review, but they're not made for developers, right? They provide these super slow code snippets that I feel are super hard to customize, and people really like Shadsy and UI, for example, like these low abstraction UI libraries. So that's kind of what I did. You can export these reviews as basic React components that are fully accessible. It's just copy and paste. So you can just grab the reusable component and go ahead and paste it in your own app. So let's create the new component. In this case, it's the basic star review.tsx. We can paste the component in there. Let's zoom in so you can see this a bit easier. And as long as we get the import structure right, also with components that are copy and paste, we can save that and now put that review on our landing page, for example, right? This is the most simple component, but as long as we grab the usage, paste it here and import our component, bam, we just put a user review on our website. And I think that's pretty cool. And that's not the only component. There aren't a ton, right? We're super early stage. And of course, that's the most simple one. If there was a bit longer text, I guess this would look better if the person didn't just say goated. But you get the idea, right? There's like pre-made components. It's kind of like Tailwind UI for reviews, I guess, where you can get a preview of the component and then grab the copy and paste component, paste it on your own website, right? And as long as we import that and reload our page, we're gonna see what happens. Bam, it pops up. Josh, the LinkedIn expert, wrote us a review. And one of the coolest parts of this, where I had the most fun building it, was the optimized image and the optimized video component. Yeah, you can also collect like videos. For example, this right here is a video that we can preview, and this is pretty loud. So you can just export video components as well. It looks like this. These are optimized under the hood, and I had a lot of fun building the infrastructure and the UI. Now, because this app is pretty expensive to run, because video and image processing is expensive, and it took like 3 months to build, we have to charge for something, and that ended up being the optimized video and the optimized image. But you can still use everything else on the free plan. It's just like built in next image, and not the optimized video component, but the standard video. But it's pretty cool. So basically how this works is the video is loaded in something called adaptive streaming, which means if we go into the network tab, if we click play, only then is the video loaded for once, right? Because we don't need to load it before the video is actually being played by the user. So this would end up on your actual website, right? You can just grab the video, put it on your website, where somebody gives you a video review, and then we stream it in with adaptive streaming. So in certain segments that allow us to kind of change the video resolution as the visitor of your website gets better or worse internet, right? And that was really, really cool to implement. Also the infrastructure part of that, and very similar for the optimized image component. If I show you how that works, basically you can see that if we go to the image tab, there are 2 things that are loaded once we load this page. It's a placeholder and the actual image served from a super fast Cloudflare CDN. So let's reload this. There's the placeholder. It's 723 bytes, so it loads extremely fast. It's basically like a 10 by 10 blurred placeholder that's loaded almost immediately to avoid any kind of layout shift for the image. And then we load the actual image from our Cloudflare CDN, which we route through our own domain because it just looks nicer, to be honest. And that's how I built it. And dude, this was so fun to build. But honestly, they're just here to provide some incentive to upgrade your plan to the pretty cheap paid plan to kind of finance this somehow. But all of this is available on the free plan as well with just the like standard Next.js image that's built in. And I put so much effort into the UI, it actually felt like shooting a like little mosquito with an elephant gun. It's like complete overkill, but it was really fun to build. And if you take a look at the tech, it's very, very AWS heavy. So especially for the image and video processing, we use super beefy lambdas with like 10 gigs of memory. So it's not cheap to run those lambdas. So if we take a look at the AWS pricing for lambda, you can see for the most beefy variant, which we're using for image and video processing, it's this amount per millisecond. And one video takes about like 60 to 80 seconds to process. So image and video processing that we handle for you is pretty damn expensive. That's kind of the bottom line, but we still do it because I think it's a nice feature to have. Very AWS heavy for that processing. Deployed on Vercel. I'm not sure if that's best decision long term because Vercel can get kind of expensive, but right now it's just like $20 I'm paying per month for Vercel. We have Cloudflare, which is for the image hosting. So the images are hosted on Cloudflare CDN and the videos are hosted on AWS CloudFront as a CDN, which is also super fast. And then lastly, I mean, there's a bunch of other stuff. I'm going to get to that in a separate video probably. But lastly, we use Cypress for end-to-end testing and Jest for unit testing. And because if you do like image and video processing, and you know, it's very, very important that when somebody writes you a review that it actually pops up right here in your dashboard and so on. So we do a lot of testing on the front and on the back end. And for that, we use Cypress and Jest. And I've never used Cypress before, but the freelancer I work with introduced it to me on this project. And dude, I'm super impressed. It works very, very well. So what do you think? There's so much I learned while building this tool that I can't wait to share with all of you. Dude, it's the first time I really touched AWS Lambda, right? I learned so much with video processing, image processing, AWS infrastructure, CDNs. If you want, you can already go ahead and try it out and let me know your feedback on Discord DMs or write it into my server. Thanks, that's it. See you in the next video, hopefully not in 1.5 months. All right, until then, have a good one and bye-bye.